This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
This is going to be an extremely busy month. I have to watch 104 soccer games, follow the pregame, the postgame, yell useless opinions at the TV. It's a lot. So I knew that when it comes to screening for colon cancer, the choice was clear. The Cologuard Plus test. It can be used at home and can only take 15 minutes, so I can do it during halftime and not miss any action. If you are 45 or older and at average risk, ask your healthcare provider about screening for colon cancer with the Cologuard test. You can also request a prescription at Cologuard.com.
I wrote a little song to remind you, Choice Hotels get you more of the experiences you value. The Cambria Hotel's got it all. A rooftop bar, have a ball. Bring a date, your squad, or even your mom. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
So welcome everybody to the Premier League Cricket Show, and it is week 11 of the season, which is officially halfway through for all those leagues who played 22 weeks, and we all know that's predominantly the leagues up north. It means that we are going to talk very, very quickly about a lot of leagues today and who's at what stage and who's doing well, who's not doing well. But more importantly, there's been big news over the weekend, and that is that my colleague actually spent more time at a cricket ground than me. Mr. Hugh Newsom, how you doing, mate?
Very good, yeah. I'm back from Trent Bridge. What a strange day that was on Sunday. I took my son, his mate, my daughter, and they sat through. I mean, we're a cricket family, so they would sit through it. But 12-year-old daughter, I wasn't sure she was going to sit through a day of Test cricket. She absolutely loved it. I think, the way it built through the day with New Zealand, the fact that Daryl Mitchell just kept getting peppered, people getting hit, and then he ground out that result, that innings with the terraces singing "Boring, Boring Mitchell."
Absolutely,
what a great effort from him. And then the way it flipped and Stokes coming in to open, and obviously his retirement, and then the Bazball, the last throws of Bazball, I think it will be. I haven't checked the news recently, but I'm waiting for Keir McCullum to be gone. And it was a remarkable day's cricket. I'm not quite sure what I think of the day's cricket. I'm still kind of processing it. I don't know whether, getting a wicket after announcing your retirement mid bowling spell. What is going on? It's just the whole thing's just mental. We were sat in the press box for a period of it. Yeah, and a similar vibe in there. And then opening the batting, which actually made sense. And then Harry Brook just, he stuck a ball straight next to us, which was great. But and then day 5, I was there, day 5, and literally if 2 of those lads had stuck around, the pitch was placid.
Yeah.
The bowling was knackered. And it was a very winnable game of cricket, and they just pissed it away on a Sunday. But it's I don't know. Still can't quite sum it up. So yeah, it's just an interesting day. But what it does show is, in terms of a product, when you could take 2-3 kids to a Test match, and they are more, they sat there all day without any issues. They weren't getting bored. They wandered off for a bit, and there's some games around the back and stuff like that. But they all came back buzzing after a day's cricket, and that was with New Zealand sort of great. I think Daryl Mitchell started on 30, and about 5 hours later he was on 60. It's just brilliant. Trent Bridge is a great venue as well. It's a really nice experience. But it was remarkable days cricket, and weekends cricket really. But times are changing.
Yeah, and meanwhile, while you're there, I'm at Chesterfield and watching Yorkshire not get beat for the first time in about 800 years in a T20 at Chesterfield. It went down to a last ball and a very scrambled last ball from Matty Reeves, who'd come in. And have you ever seen Matty Reeves live? How big this guy is?
No,
bloody. No wonder he can hit a long ball. He's huge.
It was a hell of a knock, that, wasn't it?
It was, but outground cricket, Trent Bridge where you are, couldn't be any more different, but couldn't be any more great, could it? I mean, a full Chesterfield, absolutely. When I arrived 2 hours before the game, they were queuing to go in at Queen's Park, Chesterfield. My car was halfway back in the car park 2 hours before the game, so I'm glad I got there in plenty of time. It was a bit like watching, you see one of these football matches out in some random place in, I don't know, Colombia, where the fans turn up and they're all chanting 2 hours before a game.
Yeah.
It was like that. The seats, every seat around the first 2 or 3 rows, full an hour before the game. Yeah. Absolutely chock-a-block. It was wonderful. And obviously we had all the things that usually happen at Chesterfield, which was balls getting tanked out the place or being lost. Stewards having to move people on because they're standing in the wrong places. And, of course, we got someone hit on the head because he just wasn't looking. And it just all happened in a T20 to end up in a 200-plus run chase. T20. Noah Kelly sent me a message beforehand saying, well, hopefully you bring us some good luck for Yorkshire being there because they've had a lousy record. I think I might have an automatic invite back now for that one, but it'll be from Yorkshire and not from Derbyshire, which would be quite funny. So you couldn't. I mean, the two of us had a really strange weekend when it comes to cricket, didn't we? In differing ways, to say the least.
It's nice to hear from Noah, who's dealing with a very bad injury, so hopefully he goes all right. I mean, the outground cricket, I mean, I'd rather watch Derbyshire at an outground than I would at Derbyshire. They need to have a look at that and go, let's improve the fan experience at our home ground, because we were at Repton last year, absolutely fantastic setup there. I think there was 2,000 people in at Repton. Great day. And then obviously Chesterfield is Chesterfield. Everyone just loves it, and you've got sellout crowds for your championship fixtures. And then obviously the T20. And then at Derbyshire, it just always feels a bit, doesn't it? It's always a bit flat and it doesn't quite work. The viewing angles are poor. The pitch seems miles away. At Trent Bridge, it felt like you can touch the players. Obviously, Edgbaston's a terrific bowl stadium as well, isn't it? I've not been to Headingley actually, but yeah, it's just it's tight. Derbyshire just need to look at that and go, right, it's working really well. What can we do with this 100 money? Can we improve it? Anyway, we're ranting on about professional cricket, which is just
we rant on about professional cricket. Let's talk about one of the things that we did do last week. We put the England team out on our socials for the first time ever with the clubs that they've been associated with in the past. Your idea, Mr. Newsom, you've gone on about it for a while. I think the Aussies did it in South Australia, in West Australia, where they picked their squads. We got 55,000 people looking at it on Instagram. And the ECB, we spoke to them on Friday, and even they said to us, what a great idea.
Yeah.
Just it does go back to those clubs, doesn't it?
It's a great idea, but it's an incredibly simple idea, isn't it? Just do it. Just do it, These kids didn't just emerge from the womb wafting a cricket bat, did they? They went down their local clubs and they found one, and their schools as well, and their eventually their counties and all the rest of it. But it starts at the clubs, and it starts for everybody's at the clubs. So let's keep that tradition going, I reckon, because it's a good one.
It is. I'm busy trying to find all the clubs from everyone out there, because of course when I put it out there, sod's law. Oh, what about this club? What about there was a couple that we missed. Always going to be the case. And can we just say, Emilio Gay, could you find some clubs with shorter names? It does help. Because to try and fit them all onto the social media post was difficult. At least he won't be playing in the T20, so I'll get away with that one, definitely. So
That's right.
Premier League, though, at the weekend. Let's just say it was another one of those nice weekends weather-wise. 72,000 plus runs scored, 2,700 wickets, 69 centuries. And there's a stat for you, Mr. Newsom. We've had our 12th double 100 of the season, 71 fifers, but I didn't realise this until I looked it up. We've now had 29 occasions this season where players have taken 7 or more wickets. Now, if you compare, I'm just thinking 7 or more wickets, compare that to the double 100 number, 29 versus 12, trying to find a balance there, isn't there? But I think what's interesting is some of the usual suspects are popping up within those top all-rounders, top batters, top bowlers of the weekend. And I think we're going to concentrate on them today for a few minutes before we go into the leagues and what's been going on halfway around the leagues up north in particular. But before we do that, I just want to pick out one game, and one game in particular that when I saw that what had happened there, it was one of those blown away ones where Harpenden, at the top of the Hertfordshire Premier League, had gone into the game against Potter's Bar in good shape. They've been at the top of the league, but they ended up going down to the very last ball in a timed game to get the win. And my understanding is, from what I'm told from down the road there as well, that people have been in touch. We had Anmol Masharam bowling for Potter's Bar, and at the other end, Nick Lamb. Nick Lamb had come in, and they needed a few runs when he came in, it's fair to say, but with the very last ball, hit a 6 to win. And the scenes on the video, because it's on MV Play, are brilliant. All the way down to the fans who are on the outside, you can see them jumping up and down. And the bit that I loved about it was, this is not even halfway through the season. And the passion around that win is exactly what you want to see, rather than this, oh, he's just a 6, big deal, away you go. It counts even at this stage of the season, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, another one I'll pick out, Sprotborough, Donny Town. Donny batting first, a very, what should we say, agricultural, maybe, 167. It was a bit of a grind. Yeah. Rory de Burger's 22 off 83 balls, batting at 3. Things weren't easy there. And then Sprotborough, who are in the relegation places, Donny are mid-table. Sprotborough have got it done. 2 balls left with 9 down. So they've absolutely scraped over the line. But the 48th over, wicket off the first ball, everything's going Donny's way. And then another 9 runs came from that over, which made it very, very close. Scores are tied at the end of that over, and then took them 4 balls to do it. But yeah, it's all on the Play Cricket if anyone wants to have a look. Some great scenes there. But yeah, a great win for Sprotborough in what has been a difficult season for them. In a real battle, a battle of Doncaster, I think that was.
Absolutely, I think we all like it where the scores are big scores as well. And the highest scoring game of the weekend was actually the one in the Southern Premier League between Bashley and Salisbury Athletic, where between them, they huge weekend of runs there, where between them they managed to score 650 runs. But even though that was the most runs of the weekend, I do have to clarify that by saying it was off 120 overs in a timed game. So the run rate was down at 5.5, something like that. It wasn't overly huge. Whereas...
Just 5.5.
Just 5.5. If you go across to Hatherley in Devon against Cornwood, they scored 646 runs between them in 100 overs. 6.5 an over. They didn't quite hit the most runs on the weekly records this week because they were slightly down on the runs by about 5 or 6, but got to give them a mention, as we have done also on our socials this week, to Esher Cricket Club, who, incredible chase, I believe. Wimbledon scoring 314 for 9 off 66 overs in the Surrey Championship. And Esher, in just 52 overs, obviously again, time game, chasing it down 319 for 7, with their overseas Travis Norris scoring 150. He says scoring 153 off 132 balls, and taking that all the way there for the biggest chase of the weekend. And actually, I've started keeping a record now. I think that'll be in the top 5 or 6 chases in the entire season. Anytime you see someone score 300, you chase it down. Happy days, to say the least, isn't it? But not as big as the one team who did manage to score 430 at the weekend. Our old friends in the North Wales League, Brimbo, Sam Applin, 149 off 133, Chris Taylor, 106 off 78, 430 for 3 off 50 overs. And then you go and bowl the opposition out in 20 overs for 109. That's how you finish your weekend, and you sat everyone's felt good then, haven't they? The bowlers have got the wickets, the batters have got the runs.
Yeah, the opposite, Shaw, bowled out for 44, chasing 202.
Yeah.
Not a pretty scorecard. Top score of 8. 3 lads made it to 8. Good on them. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ducks, and not a lot in between. So yeah, shout out to Shaw, lowest team score of the week.
Yeah.
Not your best effort, lads.
No, no. I think one of the other really low scores of the week, which I've got to say threw me completely, was seeing Copdock and Old Ipswichian score 320 at home to Ashburn and Barton Wanderers, who they then bowled out for 56. And when you look at where Ashburn have been during the season, they've done all right. Jaden Draper with what the top score of the season so far. Yeah, to be bowled out for 56th in that league, I don't think we've seen anything that low in the East Anglia League before, have we, Hugh?
I think there's a few. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, I mean, Shaw are not doing great, so they're sort of, it's a potentially expected result there. But yeah, that's for Ashburn to be bowled out in that fashion. You wouldn't have expected that, would you?
No.
They're above the relegation places relatively comfortably at the moment, but yeah, you've got to watch those results. Don't multiply, shall we say. It can be a bit of a virus when you get on a bit of a roll, but that league is such a competitive league. One week you're getting hammered, and the next week you're beating the leaders, aren't you? So
yeah,
it's a difficult one.
You've got to be on it all the way through without a shadow. Okay, so after the break, we're going to talk about some of the leagues that are well and truly up and running and halfway. And we're going to start at the very top of the alphabet is the easiest way to do it for me. We're going to start with the Birmingham League, which started in April and last year won by Smethwick. And we're going to talk about what's happening in the Birmingham League this year. So, as we said, we're going to talk about the Birmingham League and what's cracking off there. And Smethwick won it last year in first place, Halesowen second, and Nolan Dorridge third. Smethwick are actually short place with Nolan Dorridge right now. Nolan Dorridge, top of the league with 193 points, Smethwick with 175 points. And I'm not saying it's changing the guard there because it's far from it. It's only halfway through, Hugh, but it's a really interesting league, that one right now, isn't it?
Yeah, last year we've got Smethwick, Halesowen, Nolan Dorridge, 1, 2, 3. Smethwick, Nolan Dorridge, but Halesowen not 1, 2, 3. Halesowen the one of the triumvirate from last year. Halesowen down at 7th, so they're the ones that are sort of dropping away, aren't staying with them. But yeah, Nolan Dorridge looking pretty comfortable. H.A. Collins top scorer at the moment, 552 runs at 62. Vic and Kaderas 485 runs at 60, and then Alexi Kurvesi, pretty useful cricketer to have around the leagues, isn't he? 480 runs at nearly 70. Those are the top 3 run scorers. And then some lad named Deepak Khatri, apparently. He's quite useful, I think.
He's decent.
24 wickets at 17. Jack Warner, 22 at 18. Sanatullah Khan, 21 wickets at 23. But yeah, it's looking at the general bowling averages, they're all hovering around the 20s there. It's a very consistent league there, isn't it? It's a strong league, so anybody dipping under 20 with the ball is doing a terrific job.
Yeah, I think what's interesting for me in particular is that when you look at the league table and with Nolan Dorridge top, they've got George Maddie in 6th place at the moment in the batters and Tom Davis in 4th place in the bowlers, Freddie Fowler in 9th place in the top 10. Yeah, it just comes across that they are some of the parts, doesn't it? They're not just a one-man band. No, they're playing well together. The guy we know from just down the road here, Mr. Amaris Khan, who plays at Repton and plays at Nolan Dorridge, he's not playing every week. So they're putting people in, taking people out where they have to. It's a squad game for them.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's an interesting start. That's those 3 teams are Bart Green in the middle between Smethwick and Nolan Dorridge. I think they're all to play for. Himley's sticking with them, and then I'd say probably below that going to struggle now. So it's probably a top 4, but you never know. Stranger things can happen. Down the bottom, Moseley looking in trouble, aren't they? Everyone else probably within a few wins of each other.
Yeah, Kenilworth Wardens maybe finding it a little bit tough, having been promoted last season, whereas the other promoted side, Dorridge, in 8th place, have given themselves a little bit of breathing room, but it is halfway through the league, and we all know that things could change very, very quickly. So let's move across and north we'll keep going alphabetically because it makes it life a lot easier for us both, to the Bradford League, where it's not same as. But do you know what? It's looking really, really juicy. So last year, as we know, New Farnley not only won the Bradford Premier League unbeaten, but they also won the National T20. Now, they didn't start this season quite the way they did last year. They've had a couple of in and out results. But Woodlands have been going really well, having come 3rd last year, and Townville, who came 2nd last year. And the top 3 are the same. They're just in a slightly different order at the moment, Hugh.
And New Farnley actually lost a game, which is the remarkable thing. Lost one currently, but yeah, it's tight at the top, isn't it? Townville, New Farnley, Woodlands, like you say. Steve Bullen, 760 runs at 85 and a bit. Taylor Cornell, just every year, no problem. He's got over 700 runs at 65 for Methley, and then Frank Robertshaw, 625 at just under 80. The top 3 run scorers. We've got old mate Joe Pocklington's chipping in when he's available. He's averaging 75, just under 500 runs there. Johnny Booth's getting a ton of runs. He's at 440 at 40. And then Muhsin Hussein's 520 at 52 among the other ones. So yeah, there's just plenty of runs to be had. These guys are going to be up with the ECB Premier Leagues leading run scorers across all the leagues. And then Ankit Sharma, 32 wickets at 14 for Pudsey. Doing a terrific job this season. Jude Roberts, 30 wickets at 20, and Brad Schmulian again for Woodlands, 30 at 18, top 3 wicket takers.
Yeah, I think the thing that stands out for me here is Woodlands have got Mohsen Hussain in the top 10 of the batters with 520 runs, but they've got 3 bowlers in the top 10, Brad Schmulian, Mohammed Bilal and Henry Pearson. Now, at any stage of the season, to have 3 of the top 10 bowlers, that sort of tells me why they are top of the league right now. To have 3 of the top 10 bowlers in any league, but especially a Premier League, that says a hell of a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, you got Brad Schmulian's only got 360 odd runs at 40 as well, which is, I mean, I'd always think of him as a batter first, not a bowler. So he's got some runs still in him, so he could go big for Woodlands for the rest of the season, and obviously take a few wickets at the same time. But him and Taylor Cornell both absolutely dominating the wickets and runs charts across the board, both of them scoring big on their all-rounders target, with Ankit Sharma as well in his 32 wickets to go with 200 runs at 20. So
New Farnley and Woodlands, I think it's going to go all the way with them, and it's batters versus bowlers. The 3 out of the top 10 batters being from New Farnley, 3 of the top 10 bowlers at Woodlands. I can't wait to see them play against each other again.
Yeah, well, it's New Farnley got them first time round, that was at New Farnley, I think. So
absolutely,
it's the reverse fixture at Woodlands in a few weeks. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah,
at the bottom of that league, last year we had Morley and Pudsey Kongs come up, and they're both bottom. And that just shows you the competitiveness of that league and how difficult it is once you get in there to really make a sort of a scene. Pudsey Kongs with 68 points, let's be fair, they're adrift. I think Morley have got a little bit of a chance there, just being 11 points behind Carlton, but that's going to be tough for either of those two to get up out of the relegation zone, isn't it?
Yeah, it is what it is. It's a tough league. Hopefully they get cracking and do well, but yeah, they're looking at a little bit adrift, particularly Pudsey.
Yeah, most definitely. Shall we talk about, slightly out of order, one of our local leagues? We know the Derbyshire League really well. Last year won by Ockbrook and Borrowash. Ockbrook and Borrowash have got a big game up against Smethwick in the next week or so, next 10 days or so in the national knockout. But they're not having it all their own way this year, are they, Ockbrook?
No. They're mid-table, sitting mid-table. Don't seem to be firing quite the same, do they? They've lost a few players in the winter and just not quite replaced them with the same quality. Denby, who looked strong all last year, got themselves an overseas pro, and it's just sort of helped kick them on a bit. They looking really, really good. It's going to be hard for anybody to beat them. The other teams at the top, Spondon, Swalks and Sandacre, they're thereabouts, but they just keep beating each other and losing the odd game, and Denby don't seem to be doing that. So I think it's a bit of a gap. You've got a full win ahead of everybody else at the moment. So it's very hard to see them without some change in fortune for them. Eckington and Ora was looking a bit ropey, aren't they, towards the bottom? But there's a few teams on a bit of a slide. Duffield are on a big slide. They had a really good start in their first season in the Premier League, and they've just put together some pretty poor results. They got a really strong contingent of experienced players. They had Lewis Reitz playing for them at the weekend. He wasn't able to help them much, and they ended in a bit of a heap. They've had a couple of heaps recently. Ticknell are always good, aren't they? And with Paul Borrington probably coming back for much of the summer, he only adds strength. They're sitting pretty and not too far from the top. They might kick on. Just don't know.
Absolutely. And you talk about Paul Borrington coming back. Second place in the top run scorers, his colleague, Captain Tom Wood, 632 runs at 63. But top of the averages still, and top of the runs, Zimmers Deploy, 657 runs at 94. So that's that's keeping Ockbrook up there in seventh place at the moment. Eighth place at the moment. Third place, Chinooka Vithanawasam at Belper Meadows, and they're a bit of a surprise to me. They came in 10th place last year, up in 5th this year, doing quite nicely. And then just one name I'll point out there. Rex Tooley at Ticknell, 473 runs at 47 in 5th place. He's also taken 19 wickets in 22, and that was a name that at the beginning of the season I said keep an eye on that one, and that was through my own sort of contacts. This is one to overseas to look forward to watching. Top wicket takers, this name has been mentioned a lot. AJ Cunty at Swarkston, 27 wickets. One of my favourite bowlers names, Chris Windmill, 24 wickets at Spondon, and Isaac Harrison with 23 wickets at Spondon in 3rd place. And I just wonder whether Spondon could be the second half of the season really push on. They've got it in them, I think, from what we've seen in a couple of games, haven't they?
Yeah, I just feel like they've got a loss or two a surprising loss or two in them. I don't think they're going to be quite as consistent. It looks like a bowlers league at the moment, doesn't it? You've got a lot of guys with very low averages. AJ Cunty's got averaging 13. People are going at Denby's averaging 9, 21 wickets and 9. Jack Richardson, he's also got just under 12, 19 wickets, just under 12. There's Arafat Khan at Ockbrook. He's up 20 wickets at 14. So, it's looking like a bowlers league. The averages on the batting side aren't that hot compared to some of the other leagues, apart from Zimmers Deploy, who just seems to be playing a different game to everybody else. So, interesting to see where it will go. But, I'd say those two, by the fact you've got two lads at Denby, one of them's averaging 9 and one of them's averaging tick under 12. It's going to be tough.
Absolutely. Hey, let's go to the East to... It's one of your favourite leagues, and it's definitely up there, isn't it, for us both? Let's go to East Anglia, where last year's champions, Sawston and Babraham, are far from having it at their own way this year at the halfway stage. They're down in 5th place on 180 points, a full 60 points behind Horsford, who came 3rd last year, and they just seem to be on a bit of a run at the moment and doing really nicely. Mildenhall, with our friend Casey Carriappa from Crick is there in 2nd place, and Swaderston in 3rd place. But that league, it's not quite as sort of everyone beating everyone as much this year. The top 3 seem to be doing really well, Hugh.
Yeah, it's what I wasn't expecting. People had a couple of colleagues, not colleagues, but acquaintances from Mildenhall having a bit of a moan in the winter that they didn't think they were quite there. And look at them. I feel like they probably went into last season with more confidence at the start of the season, and they were struggling with relegation for a period. Now they're absolutely flying. I mean, they're a win behind Horsford, but going through this middle period, I feel like they'll come into their own at the moment with the weather, and obviously KC doing some damage for them. So they're sitting quite pretty. Fritton look lost, don't they? 62 points.
Very much.
Long way clear of safety. So it's going to be tough tough for them to survive. But everybody else, they've all got a win against each other in them, haven't they? And Horsford sitting pretty at the top. Neil Hornbuckle, 580 runs at 65. Jaden Draper, out of a sign in that, 500 runs at 60. And Matt Allen, 521 at 57 at Mildenhall. Those are the top three. And then Sarenja Rajaguru at 31 at 14. Sam Greer at Whittam, 28 at 17. And Ryan Findlay at Horsford, 27 wickets at 14. But I'll mention Casey as well. He's 25 wickets at 16, but look out for him. But yeah, it also seems like probably more of a bowlers league than you would expect for the time of year and the weather. There's a lot of guys in the 15s, dipping under the 15s with the bowling averages, and maybe not quite as many with the high batting averages. I mean, obviously there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys averaging over 50, but there was a few guys averaging 300 last year at this point last year, weren't there? So not quite so dominant with the bat in the East.
Yeah, most definitely. I think again, if I was to put a prediction on this one, I think Horsford, I could see them going a long way with this one this year. Ryan Findlay in 3rd place in the bowling, and actually Neil Hornbuckle's in 8th place in the bowling in the league, as well as being top of the runs charts. And so they seem to have a nice balance of the batters and the bowlers doing well week in, week out at the moment. But we all know that the season could turn when it goes back to limited overs from the timed cricket at the moment as well, isn't it? So it can be a bit of both. I think you're right. Frinton-on-Sea, they are in a lot of trouble. However, they do have the beauty of their playoff system in the East Anglia Premier League, where they get to play against the teams who come from the feeder leagues. So it's not all lost at that stage. Last year, Ramsey came up from that playoffs, and they're in 10th place, and I think they'd like to be a little bit higher than that to sort of make things comfortable. But you know what? As a promoted side, number one job's to stay in that league, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. We mentioned Matt Allen there at Mildenhall. He's having a bit of a season compared to his sort of average. He's not actually got a ton, but he's been incredibly consistent. 70s, 60s, 90s, another 70, just consistently putting the runs together. He's got an 80 in there as well. His 520 runs at just tick under 58, doing really well. Last season he averaged 40, but that was a bit of a breakout year for him. Previous seasons for the first team, looking at average of 23, 30, 15, 19, and then less going back. So he's something has really worked from this year, and he's really helping Mildenhall challenge towards the top.
Let's go south of East Anglia, shall we? Let's go down to the Essex League. They're eight games in now, so not quite halfway. 1 game short of that right now. And it's without a shadow one of those leagues that we can say all change. So last year, Colchester and East Essex won the league. They're down in 7th. That to me is a long way to be dropping down. Yeah, I agree. We'll do that. We'll do half, yeah. Colchester and East Essex been 7th. Chelmsford, who came 2nd last year, they're top of the league. But it's still a long way to go with 10 games. I think fascinating for me is seeing our friends at Hornchurch in 8th, Hugh. When you consider, if you look at the batters, George Hankins, top of the run scorers, 370 runs at 61. And you look at the bowlers, Adil Malik, 2nd, 17 wickets at 14. But not enough to keep them higher than 8th place at the moment.
Yeah, Hornchurch down in 8th. I think that European adventure is still wearing off, isn't it? The hangover is still wearing off. I think they had a lot of fun down there.
Yeah.
But there's a big group of players. I mean, they might be down in 8th, but they're a couple of points shy of bottom, but also a couple of points shy of 3rd. So it's Brentwood looking a little bit stronger. Sorry, 4th, I think, is Wanstead and Snaresbrook sitting on 103. Chelmsford, like you say, running away with it at the moment. They're looking incredibly strong at the top. But yeah, George Hankins, Alan Jones, and Arib Rashid are the top run scorers. Aussie Elliott's also chipping in with 280 at 35. But it's definitely looks like a bowler's league. Ben Waring, once again, 19 wickets at 8.37. Adil Malik with his 70 wickets at 14, and Ali Ashfand 15 at 25. But yeah, that 19 wickets at 8 is certainly useful if you're trying to get the top of the league when you've got a lad averaging 8 with the ball. And the boy can bowl.
And that is our first wicket taker that we've looked at with single digits when it comes to their average, which says it all. So long way to go, but I've just got to give a shout out while we're at it in the Essex League. It has been brought to my attention that the S6, the Hornchurch under 16s had a rather decent win at the weekend, and we wouldn't normally do this apart from the fact that two of the sons of Hornchurch legends, there's no two ways about it. Mark Whitlock's lad, Billy Whitlock, with 154 off 63 balls, and Mr. Murray, Muzz's lad, Stan. Okay, he only got 46 when he was batting, and we'll come to that, but he did take 5 for 7 bowling afterwards, and I think it's fair to say that Stan must be a better bowler than his dad, who obviously spends most of his time wicket-keeping. But to win by 455 runs in a 40-over game, bit of a mismatch, Hugh?
What's going on in that league? What is going on? Like, look, brilliant, good on him. Get a ton. Some people spend their whole lives trying to get a ton. Brilliant, but you've put up 550 odd, and you bowled him out for 50 odd. I think that league needs a rethink. But it's not, that's not helping anybody particularly, is it? You know what I mean? It's not helping anybody. I can imagine the car ride home with the other team's parents, just like, what was that all about? Oh yeah, I think maybe I had a quick look at the results in that league. There's like a half a lot of really strong teams and half a lot that aren't so great. You're playing 40 overs. It's tough. I think that's a recipe for putting people off cricket for life. So yeah, I think maybe a division A and a division B in the future for that one. But I won't put my youth league hat on just yet. But yeah, it sounds painful, but congratulations to those boys. Look, if you get the chance to get big runs, go for it. Don't chuck it away. Hopefully there was someone with a low score that they can be smug about, because that's always the fun thing, isn't it? When someone's got a big score and somebody's got a duck. So I suspect there probably was in that game. Yeah.
There always is. There's a couple of run-outs, and that says it. Excellent. I'm going to keep an eye out on Billy Whitlock, though, and Ariane Gower, who the batting both got tons, both playing for Hornchurch second 11, and they're under 16s, and everyone knows we love keeping an eye on these youngsters who are playing that sort of level, and they obviously can't be far off if they're playing second 11 and scoring 50s at that level. So always good to keep an eye on those things, definitely. So. Shall we go?
Just one more name. Ali Zeb, also, he's still a young boy, averaging 69 in that league. He won't be getting a huge amount of time because of obviously his county commitments. But Ali Zeb, 276 at 69 in the Essex League. So good on him.
Absolutely. Let's go back up north to a league that is well and truly at a halfway stage, and that's the Greater Manchester League, where I think this is one of the more remarkable leagues of the season, because last year's champions Prestwich are down in 4th place, but that's not the remarkable bit. It's Brooks Bottom, who were promoted into the Premier League, who are leading the way from Edgeworth and from Roe Green, who respectively came 2nd and 3rd last year anyway. So, for a team to be promoted and to be at the top of the tree, whilst at the bottom of the league, and got to be careful about this one, I think, Shaw, who signed more players than anybody else in the winter categorically, are not just bottom, but they could be in big trouble. What a run for Brooks Bottom to be top there, though, mate.
Yeah, so Shaw sitting the opposite of pretty, reverse pretty, ugly, sitting precariously at the bottom of the league there. Edgerton also holding up the rest of the league. Both they've got 10 and 15 points respectively. Not great. Brooks Bottom, like you say, at the top with Edgeworth flying away. Roe Green always good there, aren't they, in Prestwich? So it's close at the top, but gaps appearing at the bottom. Caleb Donaldson at Clifton, 361 runs. Sam Little with 336 runs, and Dominic Gowers 333. Not a high run scoring league at all. There's a lot of, if you're averaging close to 50, you're doing well. It's a tough scoring league, as we know. Adnan Gauss, surprise, 30 wickets at 11, but he's behind Mushin Iqbal, 30 wickets at just 9, and then Gareth Cross, 29 wickets at 16, the top 3 wicket takers there. Sachithara Pereira's in there. He got averaging 17 with the ball. Luke Williams averaging 14 with the ball, and Nico van Zeel, 28 wickets at 9. That's definitely a bowler's league.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first time we've said the number 30 in looking around these leagues. And clearly Mohsen Iqbal helping Brooks Bottom to keep, be at the top of that league right now. The one thing I would say about that league table, which is always, we have to bear it in mind, the Greater Manchester League, it is 5 points for a win, isn't it? So it's one of those strange leagues that all of a sudden 2 or 3 wins and things turn around very quickly. But hats off Brooks Bottom, not only one of the best named clubs in the country this year, but actually to go from promotion to being top of the league halfway through, they're sitting pretty, no two ways about it.
That's it. Row Green tied with Denton West a few weeks back. That's costing them a few points. I think they're a big grumpy they didn't get over the line in that game. That could really change the complexion of the league, couldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. So back down south again. Let's go to the southwest, which we haven't talked about yet. And down in the Whipple, last year Bridgewater won that league, and Bedminster came second, and Bath third. There's only Bridgewater in the top three right now, Hugh. Burbage and Eastern Royal from 7th to top from last year. Midsummer Norton promoted to the Whipple in 2nd place. It's a bit upside down, this league, at the moment, when you look at Bath and Bristol, who were 3rd and 6th last year, in the relegation places.
Can we say that Midsummer Norton have been committing a few murders along the way to get themselves to the top? Can we say that? You
can say that, and I will keep it in.
Midsummer, always a name to look out for. Just careful what you do in the woods at night around Midsummer. But Burbage and East Royal, they are flying away. Only lost one game. Really, really top start from them. We didn't see that coming. Bridgewater and Bedminster, onto their coattails. We'll see what the second half of the season brings. More availability, potentially, or less availability, depending on holidays. We'll see what happens. Bath, down in 9th. What are they doing?
I haven't seen that, but they've got a big national competition game next week, so they're still in that as well.
Yeah, going really well there. It shows you the strength of the league when you're doing so well in the national comp and you're struggling in the Whipple, aren't you? So, Peter Trigo, surprise, 490 runs at 70. Thomas Kelly's got 470 runs as well. Will Tripconi's 400 runs. And then the wicket takers, Andrew Rasmussen, 21 wickets at 16, Ollie Horn at 18 at 20, and Johnny Sadler, 16 at 13. So great work from them. Another tie we've had in the Whipple as well. We had a tie also on the same weekend as the Row Green tie. Bedminster Bath both tied 243 a few weeks back. That all cost one of them. But there's been some big wins and some close games as well. So, there's a lot going on. Old mate Ollie Meadows, friend of the pod, he's sitting pretty, 370 runs at 45. He's not sort of troubled the 100 column too often, but he's just putting a consistent season together. And again, what looks to be a relatively middling run-scoring season with a balance between bat and ball being fairly even, I would say.
Yeah, and I think the key to this, dead simple. Burbage and Eastern Royal top. They've got 2 of the top 3 batters. They've got 3 of the top 5 bowlers in the league. If they continue at that level, there's every chance that Will Tripconey, with that move across to Burbage and Eastern Royal, he'll be more than happy with taking that title this year. I think one of the things you didn't mention there was Thomas Kelly with his 469 runs at an astounding average of 156. That is some average there. But at the same time, I think it's a league that has quite a lot of balance in it, Hugh. When you look at the wickets, they're not as high as Greater Manchester, and also the averages when you look at the wickets, they're not right up there. So I think there's some great names that we're used to seeing on that list, but there's also always nice to see new ones, isn't it?
Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah, so we're going to go across the bridge now, and let's go across to South Wales, where they again are exactly halfway through the season. Last year's champions, St Fagans, are down in 4th place, and Newport, who were runners-up to St Fagans on that really close finish at the end of the season, are top of the league, and top of the league to Cardiff, who avoided relegation towards the end of last season. They were in 8th place last year, but they are equal top with Newport, and it looks really tight up there. Usk in 3rd place, and St Fagans in 4th, Bridgend in 5th. And there's a game between the top 5. Abergavenny, who were down in the 7th place last year, are down in 10th. And Pontedoula, who came 3rd last year, are in the relegation places right now. It is only halfway through the season, as we always keep saying, but there is 1 or 2 things happening there. In the top 5, being 8 points between them, looks really, really exciting, Hugh.
Well, you say the top 5 is 8 between them, but it's you're right down to 6th, and then 7th, 8th, even in touching it, even 9th. Pontedoula's not massively behind, are they? It's only really Abergavenny they're getting cut adrift. So, yeah, there's a lot to play for. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't have thought Pontadolis would be able to jump up to first. But certainly, I would say, yeah, anyone from Ammanford up are still in with a shout of a league title. So it's going to be a fascinating end to the season. Imran Butt, he's topping the runs with 500, ticking over a very, very tidy average of 101. Harry Friend 368 at 46, and then Tegid Phillips. Tegid Phillips, 359 runs at 120. So there's a few decent averages ticking up there. Sam Clark's, he's got 16 wickets at tick over 17, and then Kamil Shabdin. Say that again. Kamil Shabdin.
Yeah.
That's it. Kamil Sahabadin, 15 wickets at 20, and Brad Wadland, 13 wickets at 12 and a bit. Surprise there. Brad just doing his business there, this time for Bridgend Town. He's not done quite as well with the bat as I would have expected, but he does it with the ball as well. So he's doing a terrific job. Some interesting games. There's a few really close games between Cardiff and Abergavenny, Penarth and Usk as well. Some really, really tight finishes there. A few wickets between them. So yeah, it could have been a different story. Should the ball bounce differently a few ways.
Yeah, and I think it's lovely to see a league that, last year went down to the wire, and right now it looks as though it could go down to the wire, and the wire will be even thinner. Because if you have 3, 4, or 5 teams going into that last couple of weeks as close as it is right now, it's going to be all to play for. And the one thing that a lot of the lit teams down there do sort of suffer with, of course, is they benefit with some of the university boys playing down there, but then they go home for the summer and they lose them. But they also have the Glamorgan allocation of players, and that a lot of that depends on availability then. And in particular, I have a funny feeling that when it comes to August and Metro Bank Fever, a lot of those lads, Billy Root, for example, scored 90 odd, I think it was the weekend. Yeah, for Usk, he'll be playing for Glamorgan in the Metro Bank, I'm sure. Is the availability going to affect various people? So it's one of those leagues that has lots of things happening around it, isn't it?
Yeah, it does. It is brilliant, and I think it should happen, but it does compromise things a little bit when players get shuffled around. It's a bit like down south when you got the Hampshire Academy turning up and battering people in the league one week, and then availability is crap the week after. And it's I don't know. I'm not quite sure where I sit on all these this sort of slightly artificial status of things, but I think I'm all for the Glamorgan boys playing. I think that's brilliant. I'm not quite sure about the Hampshire Academy one down south, but anyway, we can talk about that another time.
Absolutely. Let's come back up to the Midlands and go round the corner from us to one of the unbeaten sides in the country, Kimberley Institute, who last year came third in the Nottinghamshire Premier League, are now 12 from 12. They're a game over halfway because I think they had a bank holiday Monday where they all played an extra game as well. But 12 from 12, 20 points clear of last year's champions, Cavaliers and Carrington. That little blip they had at Ockbrook in the National Club Championship 10 days ago made no difference to them in the league there, Hugh.
Yeah, it was a blip, wasn't it? I wasn't expecting that blip. Kimberley absolutely flying, one of the most dominant teams in the country. It's a shame they couldn't kick on the national, but I suspect what it's going to do is they will get this league done. Cavs surprisingly losing a couple of games and a tie in there as well. Hucknall doing very nicely, hanging on to the coattails. So there's more to come in this league, but you'd think it's between those three now. The others looking like they're being cut adrift. Caythorpe, not happening the best of times, and Notts and Arnold also, but Attenborough, they've flirted with relegation last few years. They had a reasonable season last year, didn't they? But in previous years they've been clinging on a little bit. Looks like they're in trouble again. Everyone from Papelwick up, you'd think would be reasonably comfortably staying in the league, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting finish. A little bit of a 3-tier league, I would say.
Yeah, most definitely, and I think it is one of those leagues that has a real nice balance between batters and bowlers. And, the top of the batters, Greg Willows, one of the most impressive batters I've seen this season, 709 runs. Our old friend, Sav Pereira, 688 runs. He just keeps scoring runs year in, year out, wherever he goes, doesn't he? Whether it's in second 11 cricket or whether it's for Cavs and Carrington. Elliot Callis, who was our Player of the Week a couple of weeks ago for the country when he scored a double 100. He's on 544 runs in third place. And then in the bowlers, Maz Sheth for Clipston, 24 wickets. Somebody called Yuvraj Singh, he's decent as well, with Kukri 21. And the other Ahmed in third place, Raheem Ahmed. He's the quickie. He's the quickie compared to his two brothers with 21 wickets. Yeah, I have a funny feeling that Kimberley could go and do this very, very quickly, having watched them over the last few weeks and sort of keeping a close eye on it. That Ockbrook game, totally 100% a blip. They have done the last month, remember, without their overseas pro as well, because he's been out on Zimbabwe A tour. So to do what they've done over the last month that way, pretty impressive.
Yeah, useful numbers on there. Raheem and Yuvraj both on 21 wickets. Yuvraj averaging 19, Raheem with his 21. But you've got George Blatherwick in there, James Cox, Jake Wright, Ben Babra also doing well. So it's an interesting league, but it's a well-balanced league, this one, isn't it? Everyone's averaging the 20s with the ball, aside from Jake Wright. He's going all right. And then he's going all right. Look at that.
Absolutely.
And then... lots of sort of people knocking about the 40s and 50s with the bat, but other than Sav, who's just smashing it, isn't he?
Let's go from Nottinghamshire then. Let's go. Shall we go? Why don't we go to the very north of the country and the North East League, shall we, Hugh? Because it is the one that's further away than anywhere else. And I think it's fair to say this is one of those leagues that we have got almost a little bit of a runaway right now. So having... come second last year to Burnmore, South North have taken it by the scruff of the neck this year, and they are now 56 points ahead of Burnopfield in second place, and Burnmore are back in third place, a few more points behind. They've really grabbed it this year, haven't they?
Yeah, Solomon Bell, not quite 600 runs, but an average of 63, is doing the damage with the bat. And then they've got Jonathan Whiteman, 22 wickets at 11 with the ball. They've also got George Dressel averaging 10 with the ball, 19 wickets. So you've got a lad who's getting you a ton of runs, and then you've got two boys cleaning up with the ball. So they're in a very, very strong position. George Dressel's also chipping in with 200 runs at just tick under 30 as well. So they've just got, they've got all-round depth and talent and runs and wickets. Yeah, so a really, really good start from them. Benwell Hill and Shotley Bridge looking like they're both in trouble. They're over 20 points adrift, the pair of them, Benwell Hill in particular. And then the middle, you've got a middle sort of swathe that are sort of cut adrift from the topper echelons. Then you've got a Hetton Lions up to Burnopfield, all vying for second, and then South North just look like they've won it, haven't they? We'll see how the rest of the season goes. They had a disappointed time in the ECB National, didn't they? Didn't quite manage it there. So again, National's done. Concentrate on the league. I can't see anybody beating them, to be honest.
No, not in the slightest. A couple of names that I'll pick out of the top run scorers and wicket takers. There aren't many that you can say this. John Oswell, 510 runs in third place in the top run scorers. And the other Oswell, Matt Oswell, top of the wicket takers with 23. A little bit further down, fifth place in the top run scorers, Ben Harmison at Ashington. And in fourth place in the wicket takers, Charlie Harmison with 19. It really is a family game up there.
Absolutely. And Charlie Harmison, he's not massively old. He's 18. And the one thing we talk about with young players coming through, it's if you're a young seamer coming through and you're getting 19 wickets at 12, you are a good bowler. And generally, you're bowling sharp. You're not bowling wicket to wicket with the keeper up, are you? At that age, you are fligging it down. I'm seeing a bit of him. I've not seen him live, but watched him on the streams. Look out. I think let's hope so. I mean, what a story that would be if he can follow in his dad's footsteps. I tell you what, he's bloody well needed at the moment, isn't he?
Just a wee bit.
We need a Harmison. We've got a Flintoff flirting around. We've got a Harmison. Yeah, we've got Caleb Reid down Derbyshire way. Let's get Reid his lad. We've got Pryor. Pryor got a young one coming through. Vaughan, he's got his. Can we just put Ash's 2005 Suns 11 and send him out for the first?
See where we go with that. Definitely.
Well, I mean, it's a shout, isn't it?
Well, all I'll say is I did spend a couple of hours at Loughborough on Friday watching the England under-19s against the England under-19s invitational side, and the boys who were bowling there were bowling sharp. What I saw being bowled there, Lucian Brockman from the Birmingham League, saw him bowling live. You're like, whoa, hang on a minute. Some sharp little under-19 bowlers coming through there, and we don't associate ourselves with that very often, do we? Because we're always looking at these batters who scored loads of runs and gone on. It's some real promise coming through there, definitely.
Just one lad I want to point out from the Bunbury trials. Obviously, you were at the 19s. I've spent a bit of time at the Bunbury trials. A lad called Charlie Saunders, left arm seamer, bowling for the Midlands. I believe he's at Smethwick in the Smethwick second 11. He looks decent. He was getting the ball hooping, bowling a really good pace. Left arm. He's on Warwickshire's pathway. Just have a look out there. He looks a player. Interesting to see where he goes. It's so hard to pick out seamers, isn't it? And you need to see them live. The stats don't do much. They help a bit, but they don't do enough. You need to have a good look at these boys and a repeated look. But I was very, very impressed with what I saw there, and hopefully continue to ping it down and hopefully grow to 6'12" and bowl 98 miles an hour.
That's what we need,
helps.
definitely. Yeah. Talking about seeing them live, let's talk about one more league. We're going to talk about the North Yorkshire and South Durham League, which is at the halfway stage, give or take. Some clubs have still got to get to their 11th game. But talking about it live, because where will I be this coming Saturday? I will be up there to see... Now, do I go to see Mask or do I go to see Saltburn is the question right now. I think I've worked out what I'm going to do, Hugh, at last. I'm going to do both. I'm going to do both because they are 8 minutes apart. So right? I am going to go to one game for half the first innings. I'll then go to the other game for the end of the first innings and the start of the second, and then flip it round. The joys of playing cricket, of course, meaning that I could keep an eye on the scores in case I need to go. But I will get to see, playing at the weekend, Richmondshire are down at that part of the world, who are in second place at the moment in the North Yorkshire and South Durham League. Now, last year, Barnard Castle did win this. Richmondshire were in third place. Martin, who are in fifth right now, came second last year. And it's fair to say that the sides that came up, Mask and Darlington, are having a bit of trouble down the bottom there.
That's it. Richmond should have been the form team over the last 5 years, haven't they? And Barnard Castle probably in there amongst them. But Richmond should have finished first, second, first, third. And then they're up there again, aren't they? Barnard Castle on 222 points. Richmond on 209. Darlington are on 182. Ryan Gibson at Martin is the top run scorer, 581 runs at 72. Yash Bagadia, I could have pronounced his surname. He's a Yorkshire contracted player.
That's right.
Hartlepool. He's going very nicely as well. Got a bad habit. I watch him on the streams and he looks at these stumps until right at the last minute, until he then turns around and face the ball. It would drive me mad as a wicketkeeper, that would. And then there's a guy in third. I don't know if you've heard of him. Have you heard of him? A lad called Gary Pratt. 405 runs at 45. At it again, Gary. Keep going, boy.
And he hasn't really had a big one yet this year, it doesn't look like. He's just chipped away. It was great. Would you believe last Thursday, I'm chatting to a Sky Sports cameraman at Trent Bridge, and he was a Scouser, ironically, same as me, you see him. That's why we're chatting. And I said to him, so when was the first time you got into this lark? He went, my very first game was in 2005 at Trent Bridge. He went, yeah, that one. It was the Gary Pratt. It was the Gary Pratt, Ricky Ponting run out. That was his very first game, and I was like, bloody hell, of all the people and all these. And he said, I quote, I'd love to know what he's doing these days. So I told him, working at a sports shop. Lorimer's up in the northeast,
smashing
but
it.
I'm still scoring runs like no other bugger over all these period. Definitely. So I will go to. I think if I go to see Mask versus Hartlepool and I go to see Saltburn versus Richmondshire, there's a good chance I'm going to get to see Yash Vigadia bat, Gary Pratt bat. I'm going to probably almost see, hopefully, Shafi Kafari bowl for Richmondshire, who's got 26 wickets this year, but that only leaves him in 5th place behind Suminder Lakshan of Barnard Castle with 35 wickets at 11 and Jawad Ali with 32 wickets at 14. Some real serious numbers there. We said this a couple of weeks ago, Hugh. I am absolutely certain there are more runs being scored in these leagues in the Northeast than we've seen in previous years, but also wickets flying left, right and centre. It looks quite exciting up there, doesn't it?
Carl Carver, 30 wickets at 8 in 4th place. Yeah, so you got him and Shafi Ghaffari. Shafi's averaging 9 with the ball. Yeah, but like Saminder's, he's averaging 12, Jawad Ali averaging 14, and Kim Malik 14. So yeah, there's plenty of wickets to be had. But yeah, there's a lot of guys averaging over 50, putting up 300 plus runs. But yeah, it's not quite the dominant league that with the bat that some of the leagues are. But Ryan Gibson's certainly doing some damage, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Interesting to watch. You can't help look past Barnard and Richmondshire, just that depth and that experience. I think no one's really going to go with them. And then Mask probably in trouble in between. There's a big blob of teams that are within a couple of wins of each other. So see how the rest of the season goes.
Just looking back at last weekend's games, I think there was only one game that went the distance in that league because they're all being battered down by the guys who are taking wickets very quickly as well. So I'll look forward to that on Saturday. Look forward to chatting to whoever's around the grounds at Mask and at Saltburn. And I may end up bumping into Craig Symington again, who I had a really nice chat with over at Loughborough last Friday. Really long chat about the under-19s and cricket generally. And Luke Symington may be playing there for Hartlepool. And Jefford Chauhan, I think, has been playing at Hartlepool, but he also popped up down in the Home Counties League a couple of weeks ago as well. So, you never who you're going to bump into when you come to. Unfortunately, now our voices and our names are synonymous with Premier League cricket. We end up talking with these people, don't we?
Well, you certainly do, yeah.
We got to. No, I love it. Great. Had a great, really interesting chat. And do you know who else was there on Friday at Loughborough? Keeping himself to himself. Mr. Freddie Flintoff and his missus watching Rocky, just quietly in the corner. But no,
he's coached the under-19s though.
Yeah, it was really nice,
the Lions,
actually.
He's Lions,
the Lions, he's the Lions.
Yeah.
Just really nice to see so many parents and grandparents there supporting them. And playing in Loughborough, you couldn't think of a better place to play at all. So that's my weekend up front. I've got the North Yorkshire and South Durham League on Saturday. I'm then going to go and see Northumberland versus Cheshire in the NCCA T20s on Sunday. Congratulations to Cheshire, who have made it to the NV Play Trophy 50 over final, where they will play Berkshire in a few weeks' time. So it'd be good to go. And that's at South North. So I get to visit Mask, Saltburn and South North in 2 days, Hugh. So can't wait for it to be a good weekend. That. And yourself, what you got cricket-wise?
I'm actually playing this weekend. I've been dodging it for a few weeks. So I'm actually going to have a game this weekend, which would be nice. Back's pretty wrecked. But apart from that, I hopefully actually get a game. It seems to get better if I move. So bending up and down behind the stumps will do it some good, and a few more beers will do it even more good. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm not sure what's happening on Sunday. Something more cricket. What's that?
And then you're doing something for the first time on Sunday.
Yeah. I work for CrickViz, aren't I? There we go. Check the
Absolutely. You'll have some great fun there. Disability Premier League over at Loughborough. You'll be astounded by the standard. It's good. And I actually had a great chat with Callum Flynn, the England disability captain at Trent Bridge last week. He was there with his mates, and it looked like they went racing or golfing or something the following day as well, making a proper time of it. It's amazing how many people you bump into around places like Trent Bridge, isn't it? And such a great place. But no, you'll enjoy that, mate. Disability Premier League, really good stuff. And then next week we'll continue going around the rest of the leagues that we haven't done. But more importantly, next week, we will be having a chat with a number of ECB National Club Championship captains ready for the fourth round a week on Sunday. It's coming every 3 weeks. It comes around quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's this World Cup thing going on. I don't know what it is, but I think I assume most people would be glued to the ECB Club National Championships instead of that. No one's bothered about this World Cup.
I'm not interested in the World Cup because it's Newfoundland versus Ormskirk. It's the Community Shield of cricket. Why wouldn't you want to go there?
That's it. Yeah, none of this World Cup malarkey. Yeah,
absolutely.
Get the cricket on.
Absolutely. Have a good one, mate.
You too.
Thanks for joining us at the Premier League Cricket Club. We'll be back soon with more from the world of Premier League and NWCA cricket. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review and follow us wherever you get your socials. Or maybe check out our website, premierleaguecricket.co.uk, to stay updated. Until next time, have a good one.